Well, folks, we finally made it to the final installment in December, the holiday event on this channel where I explore the death and downfall of the DCEU films. I've uploaded a video every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday between December 4th and December 28th. I do go into spoilers as I pick apart these movies as I see fit. So, if you're ready for this last rodeo, I hope you enjoy, I hope you're ready for it, grab some snacks, kick back, relax, because today we're talking about... I truly and honestly wanted to love this movie, but everything kept screaming at me that I wasn't going to leading up to its release. Between reports of poor screen testings, the lead actor and writer of the movie, Jason Momoa, saying that he didn't think it was good, and a bunch of reshoots and re-edits being reported, every single aspect leading up to this movie's release told me I wasn't going to like it, but I like the first Aquaman, and the trailers looked cool, so I was like, come on, these guys, they're wrong, right? Like they're just gaslighting me right now. Like, I'm gonna go see this movie, it's gonna be great, I'm gonna have a great time, this is gonna happen, and then I sat down, and I watched the movie, and I walked out of the theater extremely disappointed. I didn't even get to walk out of the theater before I felt disappointed. I was mid-movie, and I was like, God damn it, they were right, I don't like this movie. And it's a shame, because this movie is comprised of so many elements that I think would work for an Aquaman sequel, but all of them conglomerated together just did not work. For example, Black Manta wanting to seek revenge against Aquaman. Awesome. Great plot for a movie. An evil necromancer king from the 7th and Lost Kingdom of Atlantis. Awesome. Cool idea. Aquaman learning to be the king of Atlantis and managing family life with his newfound wife and son. Awesome. Great. A globe-trotting adventure between Arthur and his brother Orm where they learn to appreciate each other more and Orm learns the ways of the surface. Awesome. Loved it. Like, all of the elements of this movie work so well individually, but when you put them all together to make this one movie, it fails, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't have figured it out. Like, why you gotta do this to me? Damn! Okay, so now you're probably wondering how all of these bits and pieces don't really work together for me, so I'll start off with the antagonist of the film, that being Black Manta. But he's not really the antagonist, but he also is at the same time. It's very weird, and I wasn't particularly fond of it. So, we start the movie introduced to Black Manta being the antagonist. It's been 4 years since the last Aquaman movie ended, and he's been searching for Atlantean technology to repair his suit so that he can
kill Aquaman and destroy everything he holds dear.
Cool. Love that. Makes perfect sense. While he's looking for Atlantean tech, he ends up stumbling upon the 7th and Lost Kingdom of Atlantis, which I'm happy they addressed this, because in the first Aquaman movie, I had a thought in my head. I was like, wait, aren't there supposed to be 7 kingdoms of Atlantis for the 7 seas? I feel like they only mentioned 6, and I was confused as if I missed something or if they just didn't mention it, and this movie confirmed that they didn't mention it because it was a lost kingdom that no one talks about anymore. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Manta finds this hidden kingdom, and he finds a black trident amongst all the ruins. He combines it back together, and this leads into the major problem that I have with his character. So for like the first couple of minutes, Black Manta is on his mission. He's trying to kill Arthur. But when he reconnects the trident, it connects his consciousness with the fallen king of this 7th kingdom, and now this king's evil dark magic is influencing Black Manta to set him free. So now instead of Manta's whole purpose being hunting down and killing Aquaman, he's now trying to set free this necromancer king, which, like, why? Why couldn't we just have a movie about Black Manta going to kill Aquaman? Like, Black Manta's a smart dude. He's an intelligent, tactical pirate. Why couldn't this movie just be him about having a small militia and launching, like, terrorist attacks against Atlantis? Like, why did it need to be like this? Like, this is so unnecessary. And it doesn't help that later on in the movie, instead of Black Manta's just mind being influenced by this guy and he's making his own decisions to help him just based off of the evil influence that the guy's doing, he full-on becomes possessed by this dude by the end of the movie, and it's just like, so Black Manta's not even the villain of this movie. It's just the evil necromancer Dark Souls boss of the 7th Kingdom of Atlantis. So, like, why even have Black Manta in this movie? Because this movie has an element about global warming in it that is extremely forced into the film, and it doesn't make any sense. They could have just used that element to explain why the 7th Kingdom of Atlantis has returned, and that's the antagonist of the movie, instead of having Black Manta find a trident that connects his mind to the evil king of Atlantis that then now has him possessed and trying to set the physical form of this king free so that he can then attack Atlantis and destroy it. It's so unnecessary complicated. Like, they had so many steps, and it's like, we didn't need to do this. Something that makes the first Aquaman movie so good is it's extremely simple. Sure, it's a generic story, but it works in its simplicity. Orm hates the surface because we fuck up the ocean. So he wanted to kill us and Arthur wanted to stop him. That's it. It's a very simple story. But this one, it's like they tried to add layers on top of everything that made it more complex for no reason. Like, we got Black Manta who wants to
Kill Aquaman and destroy everything he holds dear.
But then he finds a kingdom and then gets possessed by an evil necromancer who then causes Black Manta to commit global warming at an accelerated rate to melt the polar ice caps. I am not kidding. That is a legitimate plot point in this movie so that he can be broken free, despite the fact that he can't be broken free from ice melting. Because we learn in the movie that what sealed this kingdom away and how it was able to be forgotten is that the first king of Atlantis, King Atlan, during the war against the Seventh Kingdom, used ancient Atlantean blood magic to freeze the entire kingdom in ice. And we're told this magic can't be broken unless the blood of King Atlan or one of his descendants is spilled on the magical seal that holds it all frozen together. So, melting the polar ice caps doesn't fix anything because this is ancient sea person magic. You can't melt it away. We're told you need the blood of one of Atlan's descendants, so you can't melt it away. It's like, so what's the whole point of the global warming angle? I guess you wanted to have a topical issue in the movie, but like, this is extremely forced. Like, why even do this if it doesn't matter? It's completely pointless and superfluous. So now, once you learn this element, everything that happens in the second act of the movie is just a waste of your viewing time. Because the entire second act of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is about Aquaman and his brother Orm going to stop Manta from doing global warming. But once you learn that the polar ice caps, that the Atlantean kingdom is frozen and can't be broken unless the blood seal is broken, it makes you go, well, wait a minute. So all this is pointless then because they can't melt the ice because they need the... So why are they... Okay, so that means the middle chunk, the biggest part of the movie, ends up being pointless because they can't melt the ice in the first place. They need the blood of Arthur or his son. And it's just like, well, that's nice. I feel like my time is wasted now. And it's just extremely disappointing to me because I was extremely excited to see Black Manta just take his revenge on Aquaman. I thought that was just going to be the whole movie. I thought it was going to be clear-cut and simple. That was it. I didn't need anything extra. I didn't need layers to shock and surprise me. It's just have Black Manta launch terrorist attacks on Atlantis. That's it. That's all I needed. Just have him be evil and have a cool fight against Aquaman at the end of the movie. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. I didn't need all this extra stuff. It's so unnecessary. And now, moving on to another issue that really bothered me, and honestly, I won't lie, this is like karma coming back to bite me in the ass, because in my original Aquaman video, I praised the first Aquaman movie for retconning Arthur's backstory in the first Justice League movie, because in Justice League, his backstory didn't make any sense. He was the protector of Atlantis, but he also didn't want anything to do with them, and he wasn't the king of Atlantis, but he was involved with them. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever. So in the Aquaman movie, they retconned the story, they got rid of the whole thing from Justice League and just did their own thing, and I loved it, and the movie was great. But here, they retcon shit that was in the first Aquaman movie, and I'm like, now, why did you go and do that? Because, you see, I liked that movie, and the story you put in it doesn't have any problems continuity-wise, so, like, you don't need to change it, because the changes that they make are artificial movie lengtheners that really irritate me. So, in the first Aquaman movie, it ends with Orm and Arthur being on good terms. The last thing Arthur tells Orm in the movie is, when you're ready to talk, I'll be here. And Orm kind of like smiles at him. He's like happy that his brother has acknowledged him. And it's like, okay, cool. You know, they're on good terms. Granted, Orm is still going to prison for trying to destroy the surface world, but, you know, everything everything's worked out. They're on good terms, and maybe they have a little bit of rocky start because of what happened to them before, but everything's gonna work out. But then in this movie, they hate each other, and I'm just like, well, hold on a second. You guys ended the last movie on good terms, so like, why do you hate each other again? Why are we going back on what happened? They can have sibling rivalry. I think that's fine, but Orm states numerous times throughout the course of the movie that he hates Arthur. And it's like, but what about all the character development from the first Aquaman? Why do you hate him now? Why are we backtracking on this story? You could have just developed it from when it left off instead of backtracking to then redevelop it. That's so unnecessary. And the dumbest retcon that they do in the movie is Arthur is not the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms. So remember in the first movie how the whole journey was about Arthur needing to find the Golden Triton to prove that he's the ruler of the Seven Seas so everyone would listen to him? Yeah, apparently, he's not the real ruler. He's just like a figurehead. There's actually a council that democratically votes on whether or not anything the king wants to do is allowed to pass. So like, his role is basically pointless. He's just like, oh yeah, that's the guy. He makes the decisions, but really it's these like 6 or 7 fish people that sit in the shadows. And I'm like, who are you people? Where did you come from? Why are you here? And then the movie tries to gaslight you into believing that they've been in the series the entire time because they have a line in the movie, which I don't have any clips because the movie's still in theaters right now, but there's a line in the movie where they literally say that we're the ones who gave Orm the power to be Ocean Master because we wanted him to eradicate the surface dwellers. And I'm like, come here. No, the fuck you didn't! I just watched the first Aquaman movie. You didn't exist. The way Orm became Ocean Master is that he convinced Mera's father, one of the other kings of the Seven Seas, to give him his support and his overwhelming army, and then forced every other kingdom under the Seven Seas to obey him. That's how he became Ocean Master. There was never this council that gave him the permission to be Ocean Master. That's not what happened. You can't lie to me. I know some people haven't seen the first Aquaman since it came out years ago, but I just watched it a couple weeks ago. I know what happened. So you retconning this is like, what? No, you can't just do this and expect me to buy it. I just watched the movie not that long ago. Why are you lying to me right now? Oh, wait, no, I get it. It's because they wanted this movie to be difficult. They wanted a prison break scene where Arthur had to get Orm out of prison. But Arthur, being the ruler of the Seven Seas, could just tell somebody to let Orm out of prison. So they can't do that. We need a reason to have this stupid prison break scene, which, to be honest, the prison break scene was pretty funny and pretty cool. Like, it was a nice little action set piece to break up the monotony of the movie. But nevertheless, it's like, we didn't need this scene here because Arthur's the ruler of the Seven Seas. He should be able to just tell people to let Orm go. But now we have this fake-ass fishman government that didn't exist before that is now like, we hate humans. We want them all to die. We don't like you, and you're not going to do anything to stop what's happening. And it's like, why? Why? You're telling me you couldn't come up with any other antagonist, any other way to hinder Arthur on his journey? Like, why did we have to create this artificial presence to create conflict to lengthen the movie? You could have done something else. I don't understand why it did this. It's just so frustrating because the first Aquaman is just so solid. It wasn't complicated, and now we're here, and it's complicated and stupid and not fun. And I'm just like, man, I just wanted to enjoy a second Aquaman movie. Why did it have to be such a mess? And speaking of messes, I have to talk about the whole situation with Amber Heard because this woman is done so dirty and disrespectfully in this movie. Now, I will preface this by saying, I am someone who is very easily capable of separating the art from the artist. I don't care what kind of terrible person you are in real life. If the thing that you made is good, I'm not going to lie or boycott it because I think it's good. So, perfect example is that I like Kick-Ass, the comic and the movie. In the Kick-Ass comic, there are some very severe black stereotypes that are very racist in it. But that doesn't stop me from liking the comic because it's very well made and the art is very well done. I really like the story of Kick-Ass, and although I can very clearly tell the racist implications toward black people in the comic book, that doesn't mean I have to like Mark Miller just because I like his book. I can disagree with how Mark Miller portrayed black people in the Kick-Ass comic while also liking the comic itself. So that's kind of how I feel about this whole Amber Heard situation, because she did some shitty things in between the first Aquaman and this Aquaman releasing. I didn't follow the whole mess with her and Johnny Depp. Like, if you want to look that up yourself, that's fine. But, like, I personally don't care. It's none of my business. It's their business. So it is what it is. But the internet grew to hate Amber Heard because of all that stuff that happened. So Warner Brothers was like, okay, let's take her out of the movie. Which is weird because this movie is about Arthur bonding and learning how to manage his life with his family and protecting them from Black Manta. So having his wife and mother of his child be very absent in the movie is super awkward because they edit around the movie and they probably reshot scenes that she was originally supposed to be in. So she has very minimal dialogue. Like, she maybe has like 10 lines at most in the movie, maybe more, but like, she speaks very little. She's in most of the time a background shot if she is in a scene at all. They take her out of the movie for a large portion of the time because she gets injured by Black Manta, and it's just like, I understand what you guys are trying to do. You're trying to appease the angry people on the internet who don't like Amber Heard because of all the stuff that happened, but here's the thing. Sacrificing the quality of your movie to try and appease a few angry people who probably weren't going to see this movie in the first place is an absolutely absurd concept to me. Like, you didn't do it with The Flash. Ezra Miller committed way more egregious crimes than her, but you still released that movie unscathed. You want to know why? Because it'd be stupid if you were to remake the entire Flash movie and recast Ezra Miller because he did some stuff that was really bad. So, like, you didn't do it. You just released the movie. So, why even bother doing it here? If Amber Heard was originally supposed to be in the script and in the movie, then just make the movie the way it originally was, and then after this movie, don't hire her for anything else. That's all you had to do. Instead of butchering this movie to delete her character from existence. And you can tell they did it because it's really awkward in this one specific scene. Black Manta ends up kidnapping Arthur's son at one point in the movie. Arthur, his mother Atlanta, Mera, and Orm arrive back at Arthur's house. It's destroyed. He finds his dad injured. His dad tells him that Black Manta kidnapped his son. And then before they set out again, Atlanta, Arthur's mother, talks to him and gives him like a pep talk and reassures him and is like, go forth and like put your all in to go save your son because I know you can do this. And Mera, the mother of the child, is awkwardly just standing in the background next to Orm. And I'm just like, shouldn't you be the one saying this stuff? Like, this is your kid. Shouldn't you be the one telling Arthur and reassuring him that everything will be fine, the two of you will work together and you'll save your child? Why are you so silent and just standing in the background? This is your son, not even just your son, your firstborn child. Why are you so flippant on this issue? It's super awkward, and it's probably this way because Warner Brothers tried to delete Amber Heard from the movie because fans online and people angry on Twitter don't like her anymore. And it's so weird and absurd and awkward. And it's just like, can we just not? Could we just not? Like, you can hate Amber Heard as much as you want, but like, the movie's sacrificing because they tried to appease people that don't like her just feels wrong, and the movie suffered because of it. All right, let's take a brief moment, and I'll talk about 3 things that I really liked in this movie. First thing being Black Manta's suit. Actually, all the 3 things that I like in this movie have to do with Black Manta, but nevertheless. The first thing is his suit. It is sleeker, his helmet's smaller, and he looks more like his comic book design, mainly because, you know, he doesn't have the big clunky Power Ranger look that he had before, which I liked that look in the first movie. I thought it was fine, but them changing it to this design looks significantly cooler. I like it a lot. I think it looks cool. It's sleek. It's stylish. It's awesome. Second thing being, Black Manta has the funniest line in the entire movie. Black Manta attacks Mera while he's infiltrating Atlantis at one point earlier on in the film, and then Aquaman shows up and body checks him, and he's like, stay away from my wife. And Manta rebuttals by going, first you stole your brother's crown, then you stole his woman? come on, that ain't right, Aquaman. And like, it was just so genuinely funny, and the line was delivered so well that I just burst out laughing. Not in like a negative way, but like in a really good way, because I just really enjoyed the fact that he said that. Could you consider it out of character since Black Manta's usually serious? Maybe. I don't care. I like the line. It was campy. It was funny. I really enjoyed it. And then the last thing that I enjoyed about the movie is at the end of the movie, right before the final battle starts, Arthur and Black Manta get to have a trident battle that was very reminiscent of the fights that Arthur and Orm shared in the first Aquaman movie. It was well directed, well choreographed, it was fast paced, the impacts were crazy. I absolutely loved it. It was extremely short lived, which was the disappointing part, but I love the fight nevertheless, and I will probably be rewatching it once there are clips of it online when the movie officially releases on streaming. Alright, back to the negatives. I didn't like the final battle for this movie. The big climax of this movie was extremely disappointing to me. I honestly thought that the movie was going to end with Arthur and Orm having to work together to defeat the evil fallen king of the Seventh Kingdom, because we learn in the movie that this Seventh Kingdom's ruler was King Atlan's brother, and that the reason things got so bad is that the two of them couldn't come over their differences and unify as one. So this movie is about Arthur and Orm learning to love each other. So I was expecting that Arthur and Orm were going to work together and fight the evil king. The evil king has his own trident. Orm knows how to use a trident. Arthur has his own trident. I figured that the two of them were going to have to team up on him, and it's going to be like a three-way trident battle. I thought that would have been sick. But no, it's actually extremely more lackluster than that. Orm picks up the black trident to try and use it to fight the king, and then the king's like mind-melding powers start messing with Orm. So then Arthur grabs the trident and uses it to show him his own memories, which like, I guess that's how it works. I don't know, but it's what happens. So Arthur shows him all of his memories and shows him that he actually cares about him. He shows him ironically enough, the scenes from the first Aquaman movie where he told Orm all the stuff that he loved him and that their relationship ended on good terms, which just pisses me off because, like, how dare you use the scenes from the first movie that you set up them being on good terms as a way to be like, you see, Orm, I've always loved you, didn't you know? It's like, yeah, he did know because he was there and you two were on good terms then, but now you're not. And you're using the scenes from the first movie to put him back in the position that he was in at the end of the first movie. But now, you know, he sees all this. He lets go of the trident. Then Arthur throws the trident at the evil king. He catches it. And this is super awkward because it happens ridiculously slow-paced. So Arthur throws the trident at the evil necromancer, Dark Souls boss king. He catches it. He only has one hand. He kind of lost his other hand at some point in time, so he just has one hand. He catches the trident, then Arthur's like, damn. And then Orm's like, Arthur. And then Orm picks up his golden trident, tosses it to Arthur. Arthur then catches it. He's like, thanks. Then turns around and then throws the trident. It pierces the other trident that he threw at the evil king and then kills him. Which, like, another quick sidebar really quick. If he could just die, why did King Atlan freeze him in ice? Like, why didn't you just kill him? Because, like, we see earlier on in the movie the scene where the whole kingdom gets frozen in ice, and, like, killing him eradicates all of the necromancer citizens, like, all the undead citizens that he created. But, like, he chains his brother to his throne and then uses blood magic to freeze the kingdom. Why didn't he just kill him? Because he has the same trident as Arthur. So, like, why didn't he just kill him then so that, you know, this whole problem would just go away and this couldn't happen again? It's just a little perplexing in my opinion, but, you know, I guess I shouldn't think about it much. So anyway, the reason why this whole sequence bothers me when Arthur throws the trident is because it just happens really slow. Because it's just like, he catches the first trident, and then he's standing there for like a good 30 seconds before Arthur throws the second one that like pierces through it and then kills him. And I'm just like, why didn't you do anything? Like, why didn't you just stand there? Like, couldn't you have, like, used the trident that you were holding in this hand to, like, knock Arthur's out of the way or something? Like, deflect it, parry? You know, just, like, why'd you just stand there like, yes, I caught the first trident and it was badass. Now I will wait for the second one to arrive and kill me. Like, it's just weird. Now, if it happened differently, that, like, Arthur threw the first trident and then all of a sudden, while he was like, ah, damn, you saw the second try to come flying past his head because Orm threw it. That would completely alleviate my problem of the whole time thing, because it's just, caught the first trident. Damn. Arthur! Thanks! It's like there's too much of a delay in time for the evil one to be able to do something. So, very disappointing. There isn't really an ending fight. They just kind of do that. And then the movie's over. Everybody's happy. Arthur says that they'll lie and say Orm died in the explosion and battle of the Lost Kingdom, so he can live on the surface and be happy. Arthur's got his family back. Everyone's cool. Everything's awesome. Also, I didn't mention this earlier in the movie, but Willem Dafoe didn't come back for this movie, so they kill his character off screen by saying he died from a poison that just appears in the movie due to Black Manta burning the orichalcum and causing global warming. So that happens. But anyway, the movie's over. Everything's happy. Orm gets to live. Arthur's got his family back. And the movie ends with Arthur revealing Atlantis to the world. Now, I have seen that this scene has been posted on Twitter. Like, people have recorded it from the theater and posted online, and people have been clowning it. But the way the movie ends is that Arthur is giving a press conference, and it's similar to both the I Am Iron Man speech from the first Iron Man movie and the monologue that Arthur gave at the end of the first Aquaman movie, which both of those are cool, and I like them respectively. This is really jokey. I shit you not, without showing you the clip, because obviously I don't want to get copyright stricken, but this is how the movie ends. Arthur is talking to the world as he has just revealed Atlantis to them, and he goes, I'm a father, I'm a warrior, I am the king of Atlantis, I am Aquaman. Woo! And I'm just like, he didn't just, that's, okay, that's not, oh, the credits are rolling. He actually, this wasn't a prank. Oh, okay, all right. And the prank doesn't stop there, because there's a mid-credit scene. And that mid-credit scene is Orm eating a burger with a cockroach on it. Yeah, just let that sink in. The last shot of the DCEU is Orm, the Ocean Master, eating a cheeseburger with a cockroach on it. That, like, I don't need to say anything else. Really, I could just leave it there, and that's just the end of it. But I'll give you context for why it happens. There's a joke earlier in the movie where Arthur is chastising Orm for not knowing anything about the surface because of his prejudice, and he tricks Orm into eating a cockroach because he says it's a surface dweller delicacy. So Orm takes a bite of the cockroach, and being stupid and because it's a joke, Orm actually likes the taste of the cockroach. So at the end of the movie, Arthur had been harping on him to go and try a burger and a beer throughout the entire movie. So Orm, finally now living his own life, gets a burger and a beer, and while he's eating the burger, a cockroach crawls on his table. He picks it up, puts it on the burger, takes a bite. You can hear the crunch from the cockroach, and he's like, mmm. And that's it. That's the grand finale of the DCEU. The whole Snyderverse DCEU that people have loved so much ends with a man eating a cockroach burger. Honestly, I can't say anything more than that, so I'm just going to end it here. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I'll probably come back to these movies at some point in the future because I wasn't actually happy with every single video that I uploaded according to the series, so maybe I'll do one big retrospective where I just talk about all 16 movies, or maybe I'll do them all individually again, just like higher quality and take more time to do it since I kind of rushed myself into doing this. I came up with this idea like a couple weeks before December started, and I didn't really have a lot of time to make all the videos. Like, hell, pretty much all of these I made the day that I was going to upload it, including this one. So, I'll probably come back and do these videos again in the future at some point in time to talk about them. So just keep that in mind and look it out. Probably won't be anytime soon, but I'll just let you guys know. But yeah, so, cockroach burger. Can't really top that. So I'm just going to end here. Remember, folks, you're instant proof of villainous. I appreciate all the views and time you've spent watching this series. Follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description, or X as people call it now, or whatever you want to call it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that YouTuber nonsense. And remember, folks, I am the innocent villain. You're innocent to proven villainous, and I will most definitely catch you next time.